A very interesting topic for today: positive health for women using yoga and Ayurveda. It's my privilege to be putting forward this topic because I have a background of Ayurveda. I'm a medical graduate of Ayurveda from a renowned college in Bangalore, and I've graduated about 21 years ago. After that, I've done my master's and PhD, and in PhD, I've worked to integrate yoga and Ayurveda in the management of migraine headache. And my interest has always been towards pain management and women health issues. We have regular women health clinics at our centers and our hospitals here in Bangalore too. Bringing this topic across and sharing my views to see how people in the society can get benefited is definitely, a very, very important aspect for me. So here, to begin with, very, very briefly, what is yoga and Ayurveda all about? So as all of you will understand that they are healing disciplines traditionally rooted in India. Ayurveda, originated from the Vedas. So Vedas are ancient textbooks, and one of them is called the Atharva Veda. The similar way, yoga originated from the darshanas. These are all 5,000-year-old sciences. And most of your yoga students, so you understand about Patanjali Yoga Sutras, where yoga has been explained in detail. What is Ayurveda talking about? So just basic understanding, Ayurveda talks about balancing few different constitutions or constituents of the body. So what are these? So we call them as tridoshas, in a very, very common word, I think, which many of you would have heard. So these are called the body humors. Then you have the digestive fire. So what's fire? In Sanskrit, there is an analogy of Agni. So that is nothing but your digestive fire, which is responsible for metabolism, to keep you going, to keep you hungry. Now it's a post-lunch, maybe yes, delayed session, but now if it's little more delayed and we go towards 7 o'clock, you start feeling hungry. So this is the metabolic activity we're talking about. Your tissues, which are called the dhatus. You have the mala, which are called excretory metabolites, like you have urine, feces, and stools. And Ayurveda talks about Atma, which is the soul, Manas, which is the mind, and the Indriyas, which are the sense organs. So a very beautiful description of what is the state of health comes from these principles. So Ayurveda says that the samadosha samagnischa, the balance between the doshas, which are the vata pitta kapha, samagnischa, the agni, samadhatu, which are the 7 types of tissues in the body, the excretion, excretory metabolites, the balance in them. Not only that, prasanna, atma, indriya, and manas. So what does this mean? Prasanna is happy or satisfied state of the soul, the mind, and the sense organs. And it is only then that we can call somebody healthy. This is very close to the WHO definition, which has emerged now after so many years. So Ayurveda is ancient. So the same concept was understood very, very well then. Yoga. So what's yoga all about? Samatvam yoga uchyate. The very, very basic definition of yoga, which all of us belonging to the yoga fraternity understand, and it is drawn from the Bhagavad Gita. What is samatva? Samatva is balance. So you hold your mind and body in balance, and that is what yoga is all about. So where are we looking at balance now? We are looking at balance at the physical level, which is the body level, the mental level at the mind level, emotional level. So we feel happy, we feel sad. These are our emotions. And then the spiritual level. So we have something where we are connected to a supreme. So that is called spirituality. So yoga brings in equanimity or equilibrium at all these levels. So yoga and Ayurveda share a lot in common. Some most commonest principles of yoga and Ayurveda are the tridosha, which is the vata, pitta, kapha as per Ayurveda, and the triguna, which are the sattva, rajas, and tamas. Beyond them, there are many principles, like you have the 5-element theory, you have the saptadhatu theory, and many more. But in today's discussion, you need to understand a little about these three, because they will principally help you understand what we are talking about and what we are trying to explore. So Vata, as you know, is a very, very basic element in the body, the most important element, one of the three. And it is responsible for any kind of movement in the body, any activity you do. For example, we all move around. How is that possible? It is due to Vata. A very simple example. Pitta is all about metabolism. So if my Pitta is fine, then my digestion is good. This is one way in which you can understand Pitta. Similarly, Kapha. Now I have a mental faculty where I'm very calm, I'm very composed. So this is supposed to be a Kapha mentality. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha are just not physical, they're also psychological components. Similarly, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So all of you understand very well about this because of your yoga background. So these are the three mental faculties which are highly essential, and it is the base to even form our diet and lifestyle. Moving ahead, both Ayurveda and yoga talk about prevention. So why are we looking forward for a disease to occur? Now, this phase, where we have all talked about and understood about COVID, experiencing what all damage it has done to the world across the universe, we understand that this probably could have been prevented. We never know. But this is a very big topic to discuss. So we cannot get into details of this. Instead, we get a common cold, fever every season, say just before the rains. Can you prevent it? Yes, definitely. So how do you prevent it? You have methodologies to prevent it. What are these in Ayurveda? They are the Dinacharya, Ritucharya, and Sadvritta. Dinacharya is your daily regimen. Ritucharya is a seasonal regimen. What all you do as per the 4 seasons or the 6 seasons which are enlisted. And Sadvritta is the code of conduct. So you're supposed to talk like this, you're supposed to behave like this, your moral code of conduct. Because just following norms of a day-to-day life, norms as per season, is not going to be sufficient for us. Rather, we need to also have the moral and the spiritual conduct, which is extremely important to balance the other two. Now, Dinacharya is all about waking up in the morning. So we talk about Brahmi Muhurta. So what is Brahmi Muhurta? So Brahma is called knowledge. So the early morning phase of say 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, the clock is also showing the same. So this is the time where people are asked to wake up, because you can disseminate and the knowledge by reading. So this was the best time suited. This is one of the reason given. So there are many more. Similarly, from then on, what all you do. So as per the order of the Dinacharya or the daily regimen, after this, you have to attend to your naturologist, then you're supposed to brush your teeth, you have to cleanse your tongue, you have to apply and do things like nasya, which will cleanse your nostrils. Then you have to do things like Gandusha or Kavala, which can help your oral hygiene be good. Then you should also do Vyayama, which is exercise. And here specifically they mention about yoga. You also have to take a bath every day, apply some oil and take a bath, take food after bath, and then you follow some regimen in the afternoon and then in the night. So such an elaborative daily regimen. So similarly, they also talk about Ritucharya. In each season, what do you do? So we have 4 seasons. We have early winter, extreme winter, say spring, summer, rain, and autumn. So according to Ayurveda, there are 6 seasons, but it can always be put into the 4 seasons, which we generally talk about. So in each season, now if I take the present season as an example, we are in the summer. Almost, some of them are experiencing, especially in Asia, early summer, late summer, midsummer, one of these phases. So what is that you can follow as a seasonal regimen to see that you avoid summer related problems? As simple as heat. Okay, heat can give you maybe some acne, some boils, acidity. So what all you can do? So this is what the seasonal regimen talks about. Much more, yes, in detail, but we are not getting into the details today. And Sadvritta. So why is this extremely important? Because it is an ethical code of conduct. It tells you that your moral conduct, your personal conduct, your mental and your social conduct have to be maintained, and a lot of rules and regulations have been put across. As Ayurveda defines preventive health and gives elaborate options for prevention, similarly is yoga. So what is prevention in yoga? Have we tried and explored this? We always try and concentrate from asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana. Dhyana samadhi is actually not meant for regular people. It's a very at a different level. And when you talk about asana, pranayama, pratyahara, what is that you have to do before it? So yama and niyama. So why Patanjali talks about yama and niyama first and then goes to asana? Because your body has to be prepared mentally and physically to practice yoga, because yoga is a discipline. It's a way of life. And here, why are we talking about yama and niyama for preventive health? Yama gives you certain guidelines which you're not supposed to do. What does it say? Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, and Aparigraha. As you all know, Ahimsa is non-violence. So what is this non-violence all about? Is it that people get into the streets and become violent, protest against the government? Yes, this is violence. But we are not only talking about the physical violence, but we are talking about the mental violence and the psychological violence as well. What is this? Now, two friends, one talks about, very good friends. Suddenly there's something which happens and both do not want to talk to each other. One friend talks to some other person, an ex person, whom probably both of them know, and he says, see, come on, this Mr. A has not at all been good to me, and you know what all he has done. We are business partners. He has really swindled so much of money, etc., etc. What is he doing? This is a type of ahimsa by words. Ahimsa is of different types. Satya is speaking the truth. So everybody at home, right, when we are young, or right now, when we talk to our children, we say, please speak the truth. So truth, yes, because it has so much of positive energy. And going forward in your life, if you have told immense lies, that will also come and affect your psychological health. So therefore, speaking truth is very important. What is non-stealing? Asteya. Non-stealing is not to take away. Take away something of somebody. It could be a small, a pencil or an eraser which a child might pick up from his friend in school, to an adult who might probably, plagiarize a research study from his own friend. So it can range like this to much more, even at the psychological level. Brahmacharya is celibacy. So what is this all about? So we are trying to control our desires. Desire to what? Nowadays, everybody has large desire to eat outside. So every weekend, we see in Bangalore especially, we see all the restaurants full. But of course, now everybody is at home, so all restaurants are shut. But is this what we are trying to do? So brahmacharya is not about just controlling sexual desires, but it can be any strong desire which a human being is attached to. Aparigraha is non-possessiveness. Don't have too much of attachment, as Bhagavad Gita says. Niyamas are some of the observances. So we have to be puristic in our attitudes, in our physical body, mind. We have to have the contentment within ourselves. Stay satisfied. That is contentment. Penance is to go on something which can really help us stay balanced, stay very secured. Self-analysis. We have to deep dive into ourselves. Take some time. Now we've got better time than usual. Reflect onto what we have done, what we have not done, and try and see what best we can do for ourselves and the society. Ishvara Pranidhana is to prostrate unto a supreme, because you have to lose your I-ness, me, myself, I. This has to go. So that's what are the path which we need to follow, as mentioned by Patanjali. So what all these do? So Ayurveda has given preventive aspects elaborately. Yoga has given elaborate preventive aspects, just not on yama niyama, but a lot of them. And going further, if we look at just beyond yama niyama, there's a lot in yoga too, a lot of diet, lifestyle regimen, etc. These in total, they will always have an impact on your physiological functions, on your psychological functions, on how you think, on your perception, performance, and it promotes fitness, mind and body fitness. When we bring in these two, it really can add a lot of value. Why? One, because many studies have also shown that they're very congruent to health and lifestyle, especially in Asia. When we have even the studies show, and even when we speak to people, we understand that they relate very well to these systems because they're very close to the culture and traditions we have followed. Therefore, bringing them together and understanding how each one can complement is extremely essential. How do we use them? So we use them at different levels. Every family can use. So how? Every child can use, adolescent can use, an adult can use, women can use, and elderly can use. So as understood, yoga can be practiced by all of them. Similarly, Ayurveda can be administered to all of them. Ayurveda, when we talk about administration, we talk about treatment, we talk about medicines, we talk about diet, lifestyle counseling, etc. So therefore, it is for a family. And here today we are trying to concentrate on women, because women are part of the society and a very strong aspect of the society, as everyone understands, and women will be able to very easily correlate. From a child to an adolescent, she grows. From an adolescent, she grows into the reproductive phase. From the reproductive phase, she has to move on to the perimenopausal or the menopausal phase and the post-menopausal phase. So adolescence, as you all know, is the teenage period, and which starts from 12, 13 and goes up to 17. Reproductive phase starts from 18 and goes ahead till she has a perimenopausal phase, which can be 10 years from the actual menopause, and then she has her menopause. So it's a beautiful transition, and every lady would like to undergo this transition in a very positive way, staying healthy. So adolescence, what is this all about? As I already said, it starts maybe at 12, 13, and there are a lot of changes in the physiological processes. Though the capability of reproduction definitely starts when the girl starts menstruating, she is not fit to do it. The body needs that capability to build in this reproductive aspect in her after a certain duration. And there are, in terms of the hormones, we see higher level of estrogen present in this phase. The girls also experience certain common problems. So as mothers, some of you might have seen your young girls experience some pain during menstruation, discomfort during menstruation. They're also anxious. They also have that strange behavior. And if many of your young adults, you would have just crossed this phase of adolescence. If you recollect back, you'll know how probably your mindset was. You also get angry. There is so much of adolescent stress. You go to school, you have school stress, you have performance stress. This has to be addressed too, because it's one of the primary reasons why girls can have different health problems. So we have to explore and understand how we can really make them stay positive. And the adolescent phase, there are some major health issues as well. Like they have an early menarche, because they start menstruating early, some of them 9, some of them 10, which is sometimes stressful. Then you have dysmenorrhea. So dysmenorrhea is menstrual pain. Polycystic ovarian response or syndrome. So one of the most commonest conditions which people may be facing, or as doctors we see it very commonly. So here, due to the present lifestyle and metabolic activities which have changed, polycystic ovarian response has increased. Premenstrual syndrome. So before menstruation, yes, you have some problem. Now premenstrual also. So some of them, always have this, make some fun. We have to manage you during menstruation, and we have to manage you before menstruation also. So the same problem, the girls don't understand. At least as women, an elderly lady about 20, might be able to manage herself better, but as girls, they need a lot of support. The reproductive phase. So this is when after 18, the body can prepare itself or is well prepared, and woman can give birth. There is a lot of increase in estrogen and progesterone during this in this reproductive phase because of this. There are some small problems day to day, as I said, before menstruation, during menstruation, post menstruation, mood swings, aches and pains, not feeling good, feeling low. So many times there may be conversations between husband and wife. Many of you will be able to relate also. So now my menstrual cycle is approaching, so I'm really not feeling too good. Now my menstrual cycle has come, I'm again not feeling good. Sometimes post menstruation, generally less, but some people do have some trouble. So are we compromising on our quality of life? Yes, definitely we are compromising, because we can stay much more positive than what we are, instead of just complaining and accepting. So what's going wrong here is acceptance, that yes, see, premenstrual, everybody talks about premenstrual syndrome. So there's nothing unusual with me. So I will face it, and I'll go to the doctor if I have bigger problems. So like this, people start accepting, which is not very good. So other bigger health issues are there, like infertility, reproductive problems, pregnancy issues, etc. So reproductive phase is the most crucial. So today, little bit of highlight on a lady, on women. Who is she? What all she's doing? What are the challenges she's facing in daily life? She's a primary caregiver at home, because most of it, though male, female equality, gender equality, all of us talk about it, and it is also important that we have it. But the woman's body, or the woman's mind is built in such a way that she can do multitasking. So that's why there's so much of prominence given to her. She's a primary caregiver. She also does work at office. She also does work at home, and she also has other commitments. So how does she face this? But what all happens to her when this happens? So on a day-to-day level, she has stress at physical level, where she might feel tired. She might overeat. At emotional level, mental level, occupational. Let me just give you an example here. So ladies, what do they do now in the morning? Say 6:37, the child has to go to school. Now at 7:38, she has to go to office, and then wake up in the morning, get the child ready, get herself ready, do some cooking, pack up your lunchbox if you want to, carry it. And then she's anxious. Oh, no, the school bus has already reached. I have to drop my son to the school. And then she's emotionally also anxious. She's a little bit, anxiety. And she says, oh, today I'm supposed to leave at 8 o'clock, otherwise I'm going to get, caught in the traffic, bad traffic. So she's also, looking at her time. So because of which she's a little more anxious. And all this is giving her some worry, behind. And there is some amount of forgetfulness. Oh, then she remembers while driving, oh, I just missed taking something, some file, something, which she had to carry to the office. And in the office, if she's really stressed that day, by the time she settles down, she is going to take some time to settle down, yes. But if during that duration, she has some concentration issues, say as soon as she goes, her senior, says there's a team meet, today you have to present this, so their anxiety builds up a little more. And this, she's not able to, tackle that at that point of time. And slowly, okay, she just does her official work, she finishes the the work of the day, she winds up. Now she just wants to drive back home very peacefully. But by the time she's back home, she's tired. So at that point of time, the son comes, Mama, why don't you make some pasta for me? She says, come on, I've just come, you expect me to make pasta for you now? So she is a little kind of angry. So there is some kind of loss of intimacy. The child might just go away. And then after some time, she feels, oh, I should not have spoken to my son. What does he understand? This is such a young, lovable kid. So she feels some guilt, that she's done this to him. So this is the whole range of physical, emotional, mental, social, and spiritual stress she has undergone for the day. Similarly, as we go ahead, the phases from the reproductive phase to perimenopausal phase, stress slightly starts changing its format, because at this point of time your activity might change, your body demands might change. This phase is usually after 40s or late 40s usually, and early 50s. And here you have slowly start finding there is a decline in estrogen, because of which there are different other problems, some physical problems where calcium deficiency occurs, so your pains might go up. And you have other psychological issues like mood swings, depression, etc. uh, Depression, I'm not talking about as a major health problem, but yes, you feel lonely, you feel a little withdrawn. These problems are commonly seen in postmenopause, which is after the complete menopause, after the periods completely stop or your bleeding stops for almost an year. That's the menopause. And the postmenopausal is the phase after that. You have much lowered estrogen levels. So commonest problems are hot flashes. Withdrawal signs in women are very common. And some of the major health issues like depression, urogenital issues, cardiovascular diseases are also seen. Now, having understood what all happens in different phases of adolescence, reproductive phase, menopausal and postmenopausal phase, what is extremely important? Preserving of wellness. Why? Because you have to make a lady stable, fit, optimum, to see that her creativity and her adaptability, adaptiveness, everything starts improving. So everybody probably wants to be like this, right? Refreshed face. So how can we be that way? By adapting holistic well-being. What is holistic well-being? We don't look at the body as a physical aspect alone, but we look at the aspects of mind, lifestyle, diet, and spirituality, and also social harmony. So all these start playing a very crucial role. This is very similar to the definition which I explained about how Ayurveda defines a state of health. And our approach here, therefore, has to be by bringing in these two systems. So if Ayurveda is prescribed or suggested, what all it does, and if yoga is prescribed, what all it does. So important aspect to understand here is Ayurveda adds on the physical component and yoga adds on the mental component. Like in our clinics, if I take an example of, say, somebody who has a history of dysmenorrhea, let us take the commonest example. So dysmenorrhea without any other major history. So it's just a simple menstrual cycle based pain. And here what happens now, somebody comes, I have been having this dysmenorrhea from the time I have got my menstrual cycle, that is from my menarche. I want to really get rid of it. I am really fed up because every month 2 days I'm inactive because of this problem, and I even have to take work from home or take leave. How can I manage this? One, Ayurveda component, yes, we might prescribe some medicines because there is an inflammatory response in the body which has to be brought down, and therefore healing can start. And we can also suggest some external therapies which can bring down her stress, like you would have heard of Abhyanga, Shirodhara, which is the oil pouring on the forehead. So these are some treatments which can really relax her. So therefore balance her hormones, calm her mind. Once we start these medications in this approach, yoga has to be parallelly added, either following the treatment or during treatment, depending on the condition. And also time constraints can be kept in mind. So when we give a prolonged process of, say, yoga therapy for 7 days, 1 hour per day, or 14 days, a one-on-one session, there is a lot of individual attention. So yoga therapy, as you all know, involves not only asanas, but pranayama, chanting, relaxation, breathing techniques, etc. So by this kind of a combination or the integrative approach, we can really define better positive health for ourselves. Sometimes we might bring in yoga first, and sometimes we might bring in Ayurveda first. If the same person has come with a lot of psychological issues and I feel very negative, I really need to calm myself down, and you understand while talking, then we pitch in with yoga first, because it's very important that the positive mindset is brought into the person. Only then the medicine is going to do its best. Otherwise, okay, doctor has just given me medicine, let me just take it. That let me just take it, if it comes with confidence, then the effect is going to be different. So this is a very, very crucial aspect to be understood. And then what all we prescribe, is there some evidence to it? Yes. So we talk about all this, yes, by our experience, but we definitely need to have an evidence-based approach. There are many scientific studies which have been done in the field of yoga and women health, and we just go through them very quickly. Like in adolescence, we find there are studies which show that the child starts showing better strategies in terms of its behavior, in terms of its total days processes. And similarly in adolescents, we see anger, depression, fatigue, and similar other problems reducing. If we have to understand this better, in school children, yoga is done very specifically now. Why do you think government has taken this and brought this as a rule, saying you have to introduce yoga into the curriculum? At least in India, it has been brought into schools, because they understand how it can change the thought process in a child, make the child much more capable than what the child can otherwise be. In adults and girls specifically, we also find how it brings down the menstrual cramps because of the reduction of the sympathetic activity. So how pranayama works, like how Nadi Shuddhi pranayama works, and how three groups, like in this particular study where they made three groups. One was where they did Nadi Shuddhi pranayama, in another group they did yogasanas, and in one group they did nothing, so there was no intervention. So what happened when yoga was given to them for about 7 days before menstrual cycle, for 3 consecutive cycles? That means if it's April, May, June, all 3 months you give yoga 7 days before menstrual cycle. So they found a very great improvement in their sympathetic reduction of the sympathetic activity. And this happened in the group B, which was a Nadi Shuddhi and the Yogasana group. So what do you mean by reduction in sympathetic activity? So when you have to experience pain, so this particular component of the nervous system is stimulated. So you have to relax it, then the pain component starts reducing. So that is about reduction of sympathetic activity. In dysmenorrhea also, we have found very good results. So how it happens? Yes, because there is reduction of a particular element called serum homocysteine. And this is how we find that after yoga therapy intervention, because of reduction, there is probability that dysmenorrhea has also reduced. Now we come across some cases. I've already given you an example of dysmenorrhea. So girls or even women, when they do yoga regularly, even in the clinics, we have definitely seen a large change in them. Why just dysmenorrhea of of primary origin? If dysmenorrhea is due to secondary causes like endometriosis, even then we find very good results. So I have a lady who's almost about 40 years old now. So she has been having endometriosis from say almost 10 years. She has also been trying to conceive, and because not unable to, because of the same problem, she's been on this combination of yoga and Ayurveda, and she watches for it, because that is what has made her a healthy individual now. Now, having undergone some therapies, medicines, yoga, and certain phases, we also introduce acupuncture. She has had a better quality of life now, and now she has got the confidence that even she can look and go in and see that she becomes a mother. So like this, we see day to day people recovering, and this really gives us a lot of confidence. PCOS is one very common condition, as already discussed, and not only girls but women between 20 to 30 are also prone. And nowadays, young girls have become more prone because of the modern lifestyle, etc., which I've already mentioned about. And yoga has therefore proven to be very useful here because it has brought down the endocrine parameters, brought down the anxiety, and has improved the insulin sensitivity. So that's how it has worked and helped. Yoga has also brought down the state and the trait anxiety levels. And in the reproductive age group, as mentioned, there are different reasons why the dysmenorrhea has been under control. And postures like you can see Bhujangasana, the cobra pose, the tiger breathing, or the cat camel pose, and Matsyasana, which is a fish pose, they are extensively adapted regularly. So if you recollect and think, when you have a yoga therapy, somebody for yoga for women health problems, then such postures we use. So now you can say, if we use these postures, do I have something which correlates and says, or I am just making my own therapy? So this is why or how you can probably relate it to. Another common condition which we see in women is the chronic pelvic pain. So in this also, what is that we do? Anybody who has a pain, they'll go and pop up analgesics, that is painkillers, first thing, very quick. I'm just starting to get a pain. I'm in office. I cannot do anything. Now I just know that today probably is my ovulation time. I carry some analgesic in my bag. I just pop it up and I just want to get relief. I don't want to, kind of take any, anything else, any other step to see that I don't pop pills every month. So this has also become a mindset issue. So we have to get out of it. We have to understand how regular practice of yoga can really help us get out of it. And such studies very clearly show and demonstrate the efficacy of yoga. Yoga during pregnancy is very well known, how it helps, and antenatal yoga, and how regularly antenatal yoga has to be done so that it helps us. As we see that the incidence of cesarean section reduces when we do regular practice of yoga during pregnancy, it also helps in managing the birth weight of the fetus and also reduces incidence of preterm labor. So when you go on to the next phase, which is the perimenopausal and the postmenopausal, here again large, hormonal swings, reduced hormones. So yoga has proven to be efficacious because it can modulate the physical and the psychological parameters. Therefore, yoga becomes very essential in all the age groups, and it has to be very specifically understood that it can be brought in as a leisure activity, as a strategy to cope up with emotions, for mood enhancement, and for social companionship. This is a very, very recent study, as you can see, and this is very nicely written and elaborated. You can take some time out and read it too. And on similar lines, when we talk about Ayurveda and the research in Ayurveda, we have two components to it. We have Ayurveda research, which is based on herbs, and we also have a research which is based on different other treatments of Ayurveda. So here, some of them, I'll just mention some of the herbs like Brahmi, Ashwagandha, and Ashoka. So what happens when you take them? For example, Brahmi is a very good anxiolytic. It can relax you. Ashwagandha is known for its antidepressant activity. And Ashoka is known for its hormonal balance. So it's one of the herb which is extensively used for women health. Ashoka in Sanskrit, just to give you that interesting anecdote. Shoka is sad, feeling bad. Ashoka is that which removes you from that state of feeling bad. So why it is said so? Because it can help women in managing their problems and getting them out of their sadness or whatever they face is what it is compared to. And when you talk about the different treatments in Ayurveda, you can give them full body therapies like Abhyangam, you can give them therapies like Shirodhara. There are something when we use a rice-based massage, which is called Navara. These are all very relaxing, and there are different studies here. I have not elaborated it here because there's a lot of clinical trials. How you use Panchkarma to manage endometriosis, or how you use some herbs to manage dysmenorrhea, etc. So overall, our understanding is that we need to bring in both the systems, bring in the physical component, add on to the strong mental component which yoga offers, and make the best conglomeration to achieve the best result. So it's very important for us to keep ourselves positive. So positive state of health can give us many things in future, because it's the health of the woman or the lady in the family which can transform into the health of the family. So some specific take home tips also I would like to give you here. Now when people come to us, as I was giving you an example of the popping pill, so I would definitely not suggest you to do that and suppress your symptoms. Instead, understand how you can take benefit from systems, holistic systems like yoga and ayurveda, and get out of the problem. Because as I've told you, and I'm repeating it right now, nothing is just there, like premenstrual syndrome. Yes, it's written in the book, so I have to face it and live with it. There is nothing like this. You have a very strong management to stay positive. Live your life very well, be happy. There are certain issues, yes, which may not be able to be sorted out completely, but there are many which can be sorted out very well. So do not suppress your symptoms. Let food be your medicine. We talk about medicine in Ayurveda, but we talk about medicine, and which is food, because herbs, we talk about a lot of herbs. Many people say, you give me 5 medicines, it's almost like food to me. I don't feel like eating food. Sometimes we also, just joke around, just speak lightly. That's okay, because you're only taking some herbs, so you can go on. So don't worry. But yes, you have. That doesn't mean you don't eat food, but you need to. You need to balance. So let food be your medicine. Why? Because you have to understand how you can bring in this concept of the daily regimen, the seasonal regimen, and your code of conduct, which talks about diet and lifestyle modification. Therefore, you wake up time till sleeping time, what you eat, how much you eat, all this is very important. And what you eat is extremely important, because you have a lot of hybridized fruits, vegetables, you have, you know, things laden with chemicals. So chemical free living is one another small point which I would want to just mention, because nowadays that is playing to be a very big impediment in the process of health enhancement. Understand your yoga dosage. So what is this medicine dosage? Yes, you heard. What is yoga dosage? Yoga dosage is nothing but do yoga as much as your body wants. But yes, you have to do it every day. But some people might do half an hour walking, half an hour yoga per day. That is fine. Some people can do 1 hour of yoga per day, 1 hour of walking per day. Somebody else may not, because you're going to feel extremely tired. Then you don't have to stress your body. There are people, health freaks. They have a lot of fads, fads, because they just go by some rule book. So you can't follow the rule book always, but you should know how much of impact yoga can make. So based on that, you can always do. So research always says you should do about 4 to 5 times of yoga minimum per week for it to have a positive impact on your body. So that's about yoga dosage. Now let go. That should be your mantra. Yoga talks about this extensively. Let go. So you should not get attached to whatever you think of, whatever somebody has told you. Don't hold on. So don't hold on to whatever you have experienced, or whatever somebody has made you experience. Just let it go. If you have a grudge towards somebody, that grudge is not going to harm the other person, but it is going to harm you, because you are going to carry a lot of negative emotions, and that negative emotions will go on, go on, go on, and give you ill health, not the other person. Please realize this and let go. Therefore, what has Swami Vivekananda said, I would like to sum up with this: give up on your frustration, but never on your hopes. Give up thinking about your setbacks, but never on your goals. Give up worrying about your past, but never on your future. Why? Because you're the key to the family health, you're the key to the health of the society. And this will definitely evolve and help each one grow together. So, thank you for being across. Namaste.